Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V, where we are intentional about connecting you with other entrepreneurs that have overcome and want to provide value to the community. It's Dr. V here, where our coaching and consulting business teaches nurses to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. So today we have Onissa Mitchell-Fisher. So my friend, I am so super excited to have you today. So super excited.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about you. So tell us a little bit about who you are. Like, give us a brief bio.
Well, my name is Onissa Mitchell-Fisher. I'm a nurse practitioner. I was based out of Tyler, but moving to Missouri City, Texas. And primary care is my passion. Helping the community is my passion. My purpose is to take care of the mind, body, and spirit of every patient to help their overall well-being. And also, I'm an author, entrepreneur, mom, wife, you name it. What I don't do is a shorter list.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're just gonna jump right into, because you have got a lot of things in your arsenal. Like, you rock it out, like, as a general rule. And I love your story. So let's go back to when you first became a nurse. So how long have you been a nurse, number one?
Oh, I've been a nurse since 2005.
2005. When
Yes.
was your son born?
My son was born in 1997, and then 2001 is my second son.
Okay. And so you became a nurse after your children were born.
Yes.
Okay. So now your first child, what's his name?
Deja.
So he has cerebral palsy. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Deja was born at 1 pound, 11.9 ounces. So he was a 25-week baby.
Wow.
He was not supposed to live past the age of 5, and Deja is currently 25 years old.
You better.
So when the doctor first told me, he was 2 years old. And I found out that the pediatrician actually knew that he had cerebral palsy, but didn't tell me. Don't know why. He knew when he was about 11 months old. I didn't find out until I went to a special hospital in Dallas called Scottish Rite Hospital, and those doctors told me he had cerebral palsy. He was 2 years old. I was 22 years old.
So how did that feel to get that information at 22 years old?
Well, the first thing was when the doctor told me, I looked at him, I understood what he said. Didn't know what cerebral palsy was, but I understood him to say that he would never walk or talk or be able to live on his own, and he possibly wouldn't live past the age of 5. So at 22, I looked the doctor straight in his face and I told him, "You don't have the last say." The doctor told me then, he said, "With an attitude like that, you'll take this baby a long way."
And now he's 25 years old.
5 years old.
I
And
love it. I
yes.
love it. And one of the things that I hear about you is that you have equipped your second son to be able to take care of him as well.
Oh yeah, well, he actually wanted to know, and he was 3 years old. He told me that he was gonna be a doctor. He said, "Me gonna be this big, and me gonna be a doctor, and me gonna fix Deja." He told me that at 3, and then at 8, he told me he was gonna be a brain surgery like Ben Carson.
Love it. I love it.
He
And so now he's a star football player, isn't he?
He's a football player. He's his master's program, going for physical therapy. He's majoring in kinesis and going to transition into physical therapy. So he'll still be the doctor that he wants to be, but he wants to help his brother. So he's going to go into physical therapy so that he can actually help him become more physically able to take care of himself, if that's one of God's missions and God's will.
I'm sorry.
You okay?
Okay. So now tell me a little bit about you going into nursing. Why did you choose nursing?
I didn't choose nursing. Nursing chose me. I didn't choose nursing. When I went to college, I was supposed to be a computer programmer. I wanted to be a computer programmer, write programs for computers, and make me a whole bunch of money. That's what I wanted to do. I took the first Pascal class and used the buddy system to get a C in it. And I said, that is not for me. And it was just a setup from the beginning because I've always had this love for people with special needs. I remember a guy in college that was special needs and he was in a little wheelchair and people would treat him any kind of way and it would just make me angry. And I would always defend him. I took anatomy and physiology in college, didn't know why I was taking it, but the other options for my science that was recommended was not something I wanted to do. Didn't nobody want to do no zoology or no botany? Who wants to do that? So the only, only thing that was seemed interesting to me was anatomy and physiology. So I took that not even in nursing. I didn't go into nursing till years later.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's funny that you said that because I had I used to think that I wanted to be a nurse informatics
Mm-hmm.
nurse, right? I went to this like campus
Uh-huh.
because it was Cerner, right? And so we were implementing Cerner, and I thought that I wanted to do that. We went to that campus, and they talked about coding. I was like, nah, bro,
Yeah.
uh,
That
uh.
this coding class will make or break you. That's what it's gonna weed you out right there.
That's that's
The
right.
first-
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So then, once you went into nursing, what prompted you to go back to get your FNP?
Well, when I went into nursing, I knew I wasn't gonna just stay at the bedside. You know, with Deja being the first time when I found out he was actually disabled, you know, the doctor would talk to me any kind. You know how they talk to you in these big words and you don't understand. And the thing about it with me, even prior to nursing, is that when a doctor talked to me, and they can put all the medical terms that they wanted to, and I would turn it around and repeat what they said in layman's terms, they just look at me and they said, "Are you in the medical field?" I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "But what I would like for you to do is speak to me in layman's terms so I can understand it, not in your big language, so I can't." I said, "But I do understand what you're saying, no matter what words you're looking, what you're saying to me." So when I went into nursing, I actually started out as a nurse aide because Deja actually died in my arms at 4. So
Wow.
he had a surgery. They gave him Tylenol with codeine, but he was on valproic acid, which is seizure medication.
Hmm.
Well, the codeine slows the metabolism down, which meant that his even though he was getting his regular doses of his seizure medication, his body was not breaking it down as fast as it usually does because of the Tylenol with codeine that he was taking for pain. So that causes that Depakote level to go up. He went into respiratory arrest the
Wow.
same night he had got out of the hospital after surgery, and they
Wow.
let him go home with a fever. And here I am. He's 4 years old. You know, I'm young. I'm 24. I don't know. You know, I'm 24 years old. This is new to me. If that doctor, his pediatrician, didn't know me over the last 4 years and how I took care of him, he would have thought that I overdosed him. That he literally stopped breathing. They gave him Narcan to bring him back, and that's how we knew it was the Tylenol with codeine because that was the only change that he had to his medications. So at that point, I was like, I got to do something to help this baby. And so I went to CNA. I went to CNA school. You know, I'm gonna do something, learn some stuff. Did that, and my grandmother was like, "You gonna make a nurse after a while? You know, ain't nobody trying to be no nurse. You gonna make a nurse? You can do it." And that's not something that I really wanted to do. But as he continued to have issues, I still needed to do something, you know, that would make me a better asset to him. Didn't know it was nursing, but I kept on dreaming about nursing. I'm like, Lord, I'm not good. My grandmother spoke this. It's her fault. You know, it's her fault. And so I ended up going into nursing school, not knowing which one to be or anything. I applied at one school, actually got in on the waiting list, but when they called me to say that I got in because somebody dropped out, I was actually at the hospital with Deja in Dallas, so I didn't get the message. This is back when answering services, you know, had an answering machine.
Hmm.
Back, and by the time I called them, they had already filled it, but I got into the BSN program at ETBU. So while I was in there, I decided, you know, I'm not going to allow uh, people to talk to me any kind of way, and I want to be able to write the orders as opposed to take the orders.
I know that's right. I
And
know that's right.
I need that extra education so that I could be a better asset, not only to Deja, but to my family and my community, because where I come from and where I was raised, it was a very rural area. So you have a lot of people that don't go to the doctors because they don't trust doctors. And they're more likely to come see somebody that looks like me, that's
Mhm.
from my community, that they know and they trust, and they know who I am as a person. So that's what got me into going into the nurse practitioner role, because I just wanted to be a better asset, not only for my family, but for the community as a whole.
It is definitely a thing because at the end of the day, and you are so right, when physicians sometimes go into rooms, like they just don't get it sometimes.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's as a general rule because we're all a team, right?
Hmm.
But the deal is that sometimes they don't know how to relay the messaging, and
Right.
especially when it comes to dealing with different populations. And
Yes.
so sometimes I'll walk into a room and they're talking like here, right, like you said, and I'm like, okay, let me sit you down, let me tell you what this means, okay.
Hmm. Yes.
And literally it changes the game. So I'm so glad that you decided to do that, and I'm so glad that you decided to take that, because at the basis of Maslow's hierarchy is our physiological being. If we can get that straight, then everything else actually is so much better.
Right.
So I love that. Sharita Deloach, she is in here. She wants to do a book, like a whole book like you were doing, so like a anthology.
Hmm.
She wants to do an anthology on nurses, so
Yes.
we'll probably be pulling in all of our nurses. So let me ask you about, because you, and while you were in FNP school, you told me that you you were you had more weight than you wanted to have. And so tell me about that, and tell me what you did as a result of that.
Well, listen, when you're in nursing school, don't nothing else matter. You don't have time, you don't have the energy between trying. I was a single mom, I'm working full time, I'm going to school, I'm eating whatever I can get my hands on when I'm hungry. Half the time I would skip meals, so of course you messing up your whole metabolism doing all of that. And when I did eat, I ate junk like most people, so I gained a little weight. And at my heaviest, I was at around 190, which may not be big to some people, but when you 5'4", you can't be having that kind of stuff. It messes your hydraulics up, right? You can't be having all those. You too low to the ground to have all that weight on you. So, at first, initially, I actually did just change my diet and did a smoothie cleanse. I did that for 10 days, and then I did that was my meals: 2 smoothies a day, a sensible meal. I worked out like a maniac, got down from 190 to 147. Then I had surgical intervention, which sat me down, that I had to sit down. I couldn't work out. Didn't change my eating habits, but the hormones changed. And so I went back from 147 back up to 176. And then my one of my closest friends passed away at age 44 of a heart attack in his sleep. And I had already started back, working out, because I'm like, nah, this 176, I'm not going back up to 190. Y'all got me messed up. And when that happened, it just something just clicked. It's like a different gear. I just downshifted and put my head down and I grind. So now I work out about 5 to 6 days a week. I do intermittent fasting. I watch what I eat. I drink a gallon of water a day. And I'm just not interested in being my own patient. And so I try to encourage other people to take whatever precautions they need to take, because I have a family history of heart disease. I have a family history of diabetes and high cholesterol. I was pre-diabetic at one time because I was eating snow cones every day. Man, I was just eating snow cones. But when I did, I had a high A1C and I was pre-diabetic, and I said, no. And I'm not about doing, ain't nothing wrong with people having bariatric surgery if that's what they need.
Right.
However, even with the bariatric surgery, if you don't change your lifestyle, if you don't change what you're putting in your body, if you don't get your body to moving, you can still out eat, you know, the weight that you lost because you're not exerting the energy the calories that you're putting in. Because if you don't change this up here
Hmm.
first, to say, okay, I do not want to be a patient. I do not want to be on medications. I don't want that for myself. I want to grow old bones with my family.
And
And I
I
want
think,
to
go.
do it.
I think one thing that we have to, I love the fact that you did that, because one of the things that we have to understand is that whenever there's medications that are given, those medications are a band aid. I mean, they're just a band aid for the, and we heal ourselves through food,
That's right.
through food.
That's right.
And I myself have had to come to that realization that we're going to have to stop eating everything that ain't nailed down.
Right.
Okay. Because it literally changes your life, and
It
it
does.
changes your thinking. Like literally, when you start eating the fresh fruits and vegetables that you should eat,
Mhm.
it literally changes your whole life and really attracts you to those bigger, higher possibilities. A lot of times, the reason why you may not be moving into the life of your promise is because you're not eating the right things in order to
Mhm.
be able to move there, because you don't have the capacity to be able to do it once you do get there. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's
And
right.
so that is huge, huge, huge. Now, you came once you got out of FNP school. Now you're a whole family nurse practitioner. Okay, now
Yes.
you own two businesses, correct? She owns she owns three businesses, guys. She owns three businesses.
Right.
Okay, so tell me about the businesses that you own.
Well, the first one is Healing Heart CPR, where I'm a CPR instructor. I teach first aid and safety. I also teach basic life support for healthcare workers and non-healthcare workers. The second one is called Onyx Oasis Services. That is new. It's my baby. It's in the birthing process right now. But with that, my goal is to offer health and wellness consulting to actually at some point as I go on this journey open my own clinic at some point as well. And Heaven's Peace Diagnostics is a part of Onyx Oasis, and that will be part of my clinic too. But the Heaven's Peace Diagnostics will be the clinic itself. The Onyx Oasis is where the business consulting, the health and wellness consulting, and those things will come in, including fitness, guidance and things like that. So that's what they're coming in. But my Onyx Oasis and my Heaven's Peace are my babies. They're still in baby stages, but they are en route, God's will, and it's going to blow up. It's going to be epic, baby.
That's right. That's
To give
right. I love it. I love it. I
opportunity
love
to
it.
help as many people as I possibly can get the care that they need from a person who genuinely cares about their health and well-being. It's not about the finance for me. It's all about helping a person grab hold of the reins of their health and realize that yes, I can give you medicines. I can prescribe medicine till I'm blue in my face, and encourage them to take the reins back and take control back of their health by encouraging them and inspiring them to actually do the work so that maybe they can come off of some of the medications that they're on. Nothing wrong with medications if that's what you need.
Right.
But whatever you can do to prevent that, that's all part of my plan. It's all part of God's plan too. So we will do some preventative medications. We would do some family nurse practicing. We would do some preventative maintenance as primary care. So that all my businesses are wrapped around healthcare.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And the reality is that if you serve, that's the deal. And I think that some people like they don't get that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to being in business, you
Mm-hmm.
just want to serve. You
That's it.
serve at your highest level. I don't care if you've got 3 patients or if you've got 10,000 patients.
Mm-hmm.
You serve at your highest level. If you steward the small well, then it will grow so
That's
that
right.
you can steward many. But
Yes,
if you don't steward that small well, then why would God bless you with many?
that's right.
Right?
That's
I
right.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, what do you think? So, tell me, give us a vision of what your business will look like, not just in 10 years.
Oh, in 10 years, I plan on having a standalone clinic and a hybrid clinic where I will be able to have a clinic where people can come in and actually see me on a daily basis for their primary healthcare needs. Um, then the hybrid clinic will be where I have someone that's actually in an office that's I'm not necessarily in, but I have a well-rounded staff there that will do all the assessments and call me in virtually to do the big stuff. So
Got
if they need to see me, if they need a actual office visit where they need to see a provider, then they will do it virtually, telehealth with me. But they can actually go in the clinic, get labs drawn, get an assessment done, and then virtually call me while they're sitting in my clinic to do their office visit.
Sweet. Now, tell me about how, like, what your typical day looks like because your son does have cerebral palsy. So tell me about, kind of how that works.
Oh man, my days start really early and sometimes they end really late. So my days usually start between 4:30 and 5:30 every day because I have to get up and take care of me first. So I get up, my feet hit the floor, I put on my workout clothes, my tennis shoes, I go in there and peek in on him, kiss him, go in there and hop on my bike, treadmill or elliptical, whatever I'm doing that day, get my workout in. After that, of course, it's shower, giving him his milk and meds, getting him up, getting him on his massage table, stretching him out, and doing my own set of physical therapy and occupational therapy with him, and massage therapy, whatever therapy he needs, I'm in all of it. So then after that, it's a typical if I have to work that day, I'm going to somebody's job, whether it's virtual or I'm going actually in the office to do that. And if I don't, then it's just me and him hanging out all day. And when my husband come home, I got to let the world go at that point. My day stops when my husband walks in the door because now it's all about him. So
I love it.
that's
I
my
love it.
typical day.
I love it. It's I love what you said about you have to pour into yourself first. Because I don't think this is another thing that I think a lot of people negate
Hmm.
is pouring into themselves. And I tell the story all the time about when I was on the plane going to New Orleans with my baby girl,
Hmm.
and she was probably, I don't know, maybe a year old. I can't even remember, but that lady come on that overhead speaker, and she was like, well, we've got we want you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then put it on the baby. And I didn't like being pregnant, so I was like, well, wait a minute, she don't know what I did when I was pregnant. Like, she ain't never dealt with that before, like she didn't know, right? And
Right.
so I was like, that's not what we're gonna do. But the reality is that if you don't put the oxygen mask on yourself first, you will never be able to put the oxygen mask on everybody else,
That's right.
period.
Yeah.
And I love how you wake up in the morning and you do something for you. That is so super important. And as a business owner as well, because you have to make sure that you are pouring into yourself and then pouring back into your family. Because at the end of the day, your family is important.
Yeah.
Now,
It's important people.
you've written a few books. Like, you're a
Yes.
busy lady. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, my friend, she is busy. So tell me about these books that you have written.
Well, I have two books. The first one is an anthology. It's called Chosen.
Hmm.
And what Chosen is about is finding your purpose through
And
life.
what's the anthology? Because
So,
I don't think people know what an anthology
an
is. So go
anthology
ahead.
is where you have multiple people contributing to one big project. And there are nine in that particular book. So you'll read about nine different phenomenal nurses in their trials to their triumphs on their journey through the nursing journey. And it is a very beautiful different stories about where people come from, what they went through, and how they overcame, even in the midst of the chaos of their lives, whether it was rape, whether it was childhood trauma, And whatever it was that they went through, it just shows you that no matter what happens, as long as you hold on to God and don't give up, you can make it through anything. This that second one is chosen to heal. Now that is a devotional. That is a 365 devotional contributed by five beautiful nurses from DNPs to an LVN that's in that book. And we got together and we wrote about God's word to try to encourage and inspire people on their daily journey, because we know that as nurses and as human beings, period, that we need some encouragement. So we have to start with God every single day. So your first step is waking up and opening your eyes, because those are the first two blessings that you got. You got open your eyes and you have vision. So God breathe the breath of life into you. Then you open those two eyes and you can see the beauty in the day that He's given you. So those devotionals is just our way of giving back and helping to inspire people to get a close relationship with God and use that to help them to get through their day, because life is hard. It can be hard. And if we could just give you a little bump, a little inspiration, just a little talk with Jesus on your before you start your day, that's what we wanted to do in the Chosen to Heal book.
I love it. I love it. And I think that one thing that we have to understand is that you are living out your best life.
Well,
You have not let one thing stop you. Period. And that is a testament in itself. You never come I would have never known that you had a cerebral palsy other than you talking about it, right?
mhm,
You live life, you live it to the fullest. I'm so super proud of you. I'm so proud to call you my sister. And
well, thank
so
you.
I'm just so thankful that you are, a part of my circle. Um, so tell us where to find you. Tell us where to find your books, all of that.
Well, you can find me at www.chosen, that's CHOZENFNP.com. You can get my book from there. You can shoot me an email from there. I'm at chosenfnp@gmail.com. You can catch me on Facebook at chosenfnp, chosenfnp. So if you need me, there's ways to get a hold to me, and I'm willing to help do just about anything that's within my power. You have to understand, God chose all of us. We're all chosen for greatness. He didn't make no junk at all. So you have to realize that we are a chosen people, and we have to govern ourselves accordingly. So yes, Deja has cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy don't have him. That young
That's right.
man walks with his walker. He has a robotic walker that we use to help him to strengthen his bones, and he loves it. And I exercise, he exercises right on side of me. We do this thing together, and we have always been in it together, 25 years strong, and until God called one of us home, we're gonna still be together.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up today because you are simply amazing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me have the opportunity.
So we will be having a master class. If you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, make money and own your own time, building a profitable nurse coaching and consulting business, we have a master class. It's coming up October 12th next week. And so I ask that you like and share this podcast. But you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.